everybody knows spotlights add 10 brake horsepower to any car. They also look fantastic and cool, and so I found some. We've got here some of the retro chrome yellow spotlights, which I just think I like that. Obviously, it's subjective, but it's my car and I like them. So, yes, they're going on the car. Obviously, being a 47-year-old car with the wiring of many weekend mechanics, better than us, but still a little bit shoddy, Jim came up with a great idea to cut a corner.
I hope. So I decided we could assemble a wiring loom ourselves, and I did find quite a good diagram online to allow us to build a wiring loom. And then I stumbled, after a bit of late night surfing, I stumbled across a pre-made fog light loom online. So this appears to have all of the equipment we need. So it's as you can see, pre-manufactured. It comes with a relay ready connected. Hopefully enough wiring. It's a bit nasty, this PVC covering, but I've got some convoluted black tubing which I hope will give the car a little bit more of an OE, a slightly more professional look. So anyway, it comes with an inline blade fuse, the relay and the switch. Now, not overly keen on the switch, so I might change that a little bit later, but it will allow us to give proof of concept at least, and it makes it quite simple because basically all we have to do is connect an earth wire and then a live, or a hot as the Americans call it, to a switched live somewhere convenient within the engine bay. It will then run through the inline fuse to the relay, which essentially allows the small 12-volt current to switch on a much larger current, as I understand it. Thanks to my big brother Duncan once again for helping me out on matters concerning electrons, and that will then allow the fog lights to be wired. Hopefully I've bought the correct loom, which allows for a pair of lights rather than a single light bar to be wired up. So we'll wire those up and we'll see how everything goes. So one of the jobs that I want to tackle today is to make some fog light brackets. So you may have seen in an earlier episode, Matt picked up these really nice kind of yellow fog lights with a chrome, or I think it's actually probably polished stainless steel backing. And we decided that we're going to mount them inboard of the overriders. We're kind of limited on options as to where we can mount these. We did look at the possibility of mounting them under the bumper, but I think in all honesty they're going to be too low if we do that. So looking like inboard of the overriders seemed to be the best place to go. Now, Matt was quite keen that we didn't drill and mount them into the bumpers. Two reasons: obviously it makes it much harder to make good if we do remove them, and also not 100% sure yet that we are going to keep the bumpers. We may remove them. So what I'm thinking of doing is manufacturing basically an L-shaped bracket that will bolt through the existing bumper mounting and fit the fog light, something like that. So I'll pull the camera in a little bit closer just so you can see the mounting here that I'm attempting to do. And as soon as it started raining, I'm going to take a couple of quick measurements and then we're going to head back inside to create some brackets. So it's got a clear bolt on the bottom, so probably looking, the leg wants to be about 80mm and it's going to come forward, so let's say 85mm by 40. So I'll just pull the camera in a little bit closer so that you can see the angle that we want to get onto the bumper mount. So here you can see down from the top, this is the inner bumper mounting here. So you've got the L-shaped bracket which comes out of the front of the car, and then this sort of curved bracket which is bolted onto the back of the bumper. So my plan is to fit the bumper spotlight bracket in front of this bracket here, and it will come up. If I move that out, it'll come up and forward like that. So as I say, it's starting to rain a bit heavier now, so let's head into the workshop and get some brackets made. Excuse my appearance, the hay fever is absolutely killing me this morning. So I picked up some 25mm flat steel strip, or for those of you watching in black and white, it's about 1 inch. And I think this is 25mm by 4mm thick. So let's have a little look and see. I didn't want to go too thick. Yeah, 4mm. I don't really have a lot of extensive metalworking equipment here in the shop, so I wanted something that I can bend quite easily using a vise. So what I'm going to do is snip a couple of lengths. I'll probably cut off a length of about 150 millimeters just to make it a little bit more manageable, and then we can have a go at forming the angles. And I think what I'll probably do is cut them down with a grinder outside, and then I can work on getting the angle and then trim them up to length afterwards. So we'll move outside. Hopefully the rain's held off just enough to be able to There we go, so we've got a nice gentle curve there on the bracket, and still got plenty of meat there. We can afford to trim that down a little bit. So what I'll try and do now is see if I can replicate that and get another one made the same. There we go. I think that's pretty close for a bit of redneck engineering. So what we'll do now is to mark and drill a hole that will take the spotlight or fog light in the top, and also a bolt at the bottom here which will anchor it to the bumper bracket, and then we'll give them a little bit of a clean up with the grinder. Okay, so we finished off the grinding, rounded over the ends and just kind of tidied up a little bit, removed the swarf on the bracket. So what we're going to do now is just give it a coat of paint. So as always, I'll pop my mask on. Oh well, at least we know they're round on the ends. So just give that a few minutes to dry, then I'll flip them over and spray the other side. It's pretty humid here, so I don't think it's going to take too long for that to dry. And then we'll come back, and after the etch primer's gone off, we'll give it a coat of satin black. In the meantime, I'm going to have a cup of tea. And now we're just going to give the brackets a coat of satin black from a rattle pan. Let that dry, and then we're going to do another coat from the other side. Okay, so I've let the fog light brackets, the paint dry up overnight, and here they go, and I'm really pleased with how they've turned out. So with some etch primer and then a coat of satin black. So what we're going to do now is refit the brackets, or fit the brackets to the car with the bumper mount. So I've already removed the front bumper and the bumper iron. This was just to check that everything fitted in the kind of production stage. So what we're going to do now is to refit the bumper iron. I think I'm going to sandwich the bracket between the bumper iron and the bumper mount and the iron which comes through from the front of the kind of the chassis leg. So it's a little bit fiddly to get these in. Access is not the best, so I'm just going to employ a bit later. A pair of needle nose pliers just to try and work everything into position. Got such big fat sausage fingers as me, but still I think we'll get there. So again, spacer washer through the bumper iron, spotlight bracket, and onto the car. There's a little bit more room to manoeuvre on this side. I think one of the other bumper irons, the other bumper iron is a little bit bent. There we go. One of those jobs where having three hands would really come in useful. So just left those a little bit loose just to, once we get everything lined up, then I can finally just nip them up in a sec when everything looks to be in the right position. So I'll just stand back and have a look. Okay, so that's got that lined up. So next, going to put the bumper back on. Okay, so that's sitting really well. I'm just going to go ahead, fit the other one, and then once we've got them sort of lined up, I'll nip up the bracket a little bit just to stop them moving. Do a visual sort of inspection to make sure that we've got them kind of more or less parallel and upright, but really pleased with how that's looking now. Okay, so we've got the fog lights now are fitted. I've tightened up all of the bolts and I've done a crude alignment just to make sure they're pointing roughly in the direction of the front of the car. So what we're going to do now is to wire them up. So as we mentioned, we've got a pre-made wiring loom which will connect through a switch panel that we're going to make under the dashboard, which is coming as a separate video. So we'll get them connected up, then once we've got power to them we can use against the whiteboard or the garage door, we can get them lined up. Just to make sure that everything's correct, that they're both pointing straight ahead, the beam patterns are quite level. Now I'm going to call the installation, or at least the non-electrical part, the mechanical part of the installation, I'm going to call that complete. And as I say, we might put the electrics out as a separate video or tag it on to the end of this. So if the electrics don't follow immediately after this bit, we'll see you in the next video. Stay tuned. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We'd love to hear from you, some comments, hopefully positive ones, as to how you think we're getting on. Anything that's people have done in a similar situation, you know, it's great to know what other people think. So yeah, please do drop us a comment, and we'll see you for the next video.